This is a behind the scenes of recording the video of the Utilitech, or whatever the heck it is, VN. I've done a couple films like this before and some people found them interesting. I happen to have the other camera down here at the moment, so I figured we'll do it for this one. So we're going to film this video here in the studio. I've been filming all over the house recently, but today we're going to film in the studio. And before we get started, we're going to clean the bench off here because it's full of junk from putting up the garland here. And yes, we're going to use an Oric vacuum. Oh, those don't work. Actually, they work pretty good, so we're going to use it and it'll work fine. It's lightweight, it's easy to bring up to the table like this. Unfortunately, was a screw on the bench that I didn't see in time, and that screw is now within the vacuum. It was not an older screw. I have no idea what it went to. It seemed like a pretty standard size stainless steel screw. That's one of the nice things about using the bagless vacuum in work areas, is that if you do collect something that you need, it's a lot easier to retrieve it. Okay, so here's the subject matter. Take this off here now to save time during the video. And if I'm paying attention, I will have the kilowatt meter set up and ready to go. I designed this with the intention of just being able to plug this in right there, not have to have the power bar all the time. So we'll do it this way. We'll have a little Christmas tree here. We're going to need this. The camera is already plugged in, that's important. The lights are not on. That's important. Put the lights on. Turn this off to get that noise out of the video. And here we go. Here is a Utilitech, which I believe is a Lowe's store brand. VN. It is the Lowe's store brand VN model, oh dear, that's long, SFDR3-300CPT. And this is made in China by Jiangmen Qi Electric Appliances Manufacturing Company Limited, which is not a brand I'm familiar with. It is dated, actually I don't see a date on here, 120 volts, oh no, there is a date, 0420, so most likely April of 2020. I picked up one of these, a year or two ago. I think I was living here already. And it was surprisingly decent, or so I remember. So I added it to the list of fans that I would buy another one if I found it at a decent price, and I found it at a decent price, so I got it. The only thing that I think is very annoying about this is it does have a screw down here at the bottom in addition to all the clips, so it's almost easy to clean. Word for those clips. We've got a rotary speed control on the side, standard oscillation knob, which is plastic, although it's coated in some tacky finish to try to make it look like shiny metal. Same thing with our tilt adjustment down here. It is a very stiff and non-flexible memory holding wire. There's a 3-prong plug with a replaceable fuse and kind of bent up prongs. Let's fix that before we plug this in. This cord is just ridiculous. I don't know if this was in the garage, so it's in like 55 degrees, but which will make it a little bit stiffer, but I don't know, it seems like there's something wrong with this. It shouldn't be quite that stiff. This is rated for 0.4 amps. I think what's most notable about this is the blade. A lot of times these cheesy metal oscillating fans have really lousy non-aerodynamic blade sets, and they just spin very fast and make a lot of noise and don't move a whole lot of air. But this one actually has decent scoop to it. Not a lot of pitch, but fairly reasonable for something of this form factor and age. It's got a nice riveted steel hub, whatever it's made of. Really pretty decent blade set, especially for a little 12-inch oscillating fan. I guess that kilowatt meter outlet's a little bit too high to see in the video at the same time. We're testing at 118.5 the volts. Go to the amps and we'll begin on number 1. I'm not sure if that's low or high. It's probably low. Now the bearings, stuff. A little bit, but not really. I feel like that's not quite getting up to full speed. The power is 0.33 the amps, 39 the watts, with a power factor of 0.99, teetering to 1 on occasion. Very quiet. Decent airflow. It's a pretty gentle stream. As far as the air traveling goes, there's a lot of stuff on the floor right now, but if I get about 10 feet away, I can still feel the air moving. It's not particularly strong, but it is present. Okay, let's go to the number 2, which I guess is medium now. That was certainly low. Medium, that is 0.36 the amps, 41 the watts, with a power factor of 1, teetering to 0.98. Now it's sitting at 1 permanently. That's pretty rare. You don't see a whole lot of motors that actually have a true 1 power factor. So this was built relatively well, at least, in terms of matching the capacitor to the motor and so forth. Pushing pretty good here now. And a pretty reasonable noise level. The power consumption seems kind of high though. 0.35 amps for this is a bit much to me. I can still feel a draft over here. It's not particularly strong. I have to say this is not quite as impressive as I remember it. Or maybe it's different than the other one. There's the high. On the high, it is 0.39 amps, 45 watts, with a power factor of 0.97. And this is pushing pretty good here now. It's not too loud. It's got kind of that high velocity sound to it. Pretty big jump in performance compared to medium. I can feel a decent amount of air over here now. The balance is actually very good. It's almost perfect, which is rare nowadays. I can't feel anything with it off the table. On the table I can feel just the slightest amount of vibration. I wouldn't even try to correct it. I don't think I'd be able to improve it at all. Is that 0.4? Looks like it went up a little bit. It's showing 0.37 right now. I guess not. I can't detect any lack of balance on low at all. It's in perfect balance. This seems to be pretty low hours, but the bearings are still perfectly free. It was probably a hair stiff at the beginning because it was cooler in the garage. Well, this is not quite as powerful as I recall it being, but I do still feel like this is a pretty decent quality product considering how recently it was made. And that's it. That's what it takes to make a video around here. That goes into the computer and it just goes straight up to the YouTube, whatever the website's called. Very simple.